what was the main draw for you in taking on this project?
Well, I'll be honest. When I first heard that they were doing an Angry Birds movie, to say I was skeptical is an understatement. And I sort of felt like after doing Frozen, I wasn't necessarily looking to do another animated movie. And the producer, John, he presented this 20-minute pitch reel that was full of these incredibly detailed storyboards and also pre-visualizations. And within a minute of hearing that pitch, I was absolutely sold because I realized that the movie didn't require necessarily any relationship with the game. It, a la Lego movie almost, it stood on its own 2 feet, and it was wildly entertaining, subversively funny, but it also had this amazing, unexpected emotional core. This core between these three friends who start off in this kind of, bad place in terms of they've all got these anger issues, but during the course of the movie, they find a positive way to use that anger to do good. And I thought that was a really compelling message, and I think that that's why they put together this all-star comedic cast. Is I think the movie stands on its own and is so wildly funny.
And when I think of voice artists doing animations, I actually think of Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire and him voicing that cartoon bird.
Right.
But what is the process really like, and which voice artists' performances have influenced you?
Well, it's funny that you should mention Robin because I've always said that, with regard to Frozen, the inspiration that I found was Robin performing the genie. It was one of those iconic performances that I remember sitting in a theater as a kid being like, oh my God, what is this? This is unbelievable. And Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella in Lion King, and, the list goes on and on, where there have been so many great vocal performances. Ellen DeGeneres in Finding Nemo, most recently, I thought that the cast of Inside Out and Zootopia were just incredible. So, it's very much like the process that you referenced in Mrs. Doubtfire, but it's sort of a lonely experience because you're not interacting with other castmates. You're by yourself in a recording booth. There's a glass partition that separates you and the creative team, and they'll engage with you for dialogue, but then it'll go silent and they're discussing amongst themselves, and you're like, oh, did I completely screw this up? Am I gonna be fired? So it's kind of stressful, but also liberating because you have only your voice to utilize to express these emotions, these thoughts. And so I think that challenge is fun.
And you played Elder Cunningham in the Tony Award-winning Book of Mormon, which is still making audiences cry in
Right.
London with laughter. Would you be tempted to tread the boards in London's West End if it was for the right part?
I've always, it's been an absolute dream of mine to go to London and perform. I would consider it a huge honor. It would just have to be the right experience, and Mormon was such a unique show. And finding the right thing to follow that up with has been the challenge.
And what can we look forward to seeing you in next? I know we're all very excited about Beauty and the Beast.
You should be. It's a pretty phenomenal film, and I can't wait for people to see it. I'm getting ready to do 2 films that I'm enormously excited about as well. One with Chadwick Boseman about the early days of Thurgood Marshall, and then the other is a movie with Will Ferrell called Russ and Roger, which I'm really excited about as well. So, keeping busy, but in the meantime, go see Angry Birds in cinemas soon.
And as a parent, you must enjoy making these animated films that your children can watch with you.
It really is. My philosophy is one for them, one for me. It's so unbelievably cool to be able to share movies like Frozen and Angry Birds and Beauty and the Beast with my kids, because they get such joy out of it. And although now it's becoming very judgmental, I took my daughter to see a movie the other day, and I think we saw Zootopia, and they did a trailer for Angry Birds, and she loved the trailer, but she had some choice words for me. where she said to me, "You're talking too fast, Daddy," and I was like, "That was the direction, Ava. That's what the director asked for. You weren't there. You don't know. You don't know what they told me I have to do." And then I started crying again by myself. She brings that out in me.
And just finally, quickly, for one of our stations with very young children listeners, if you could choose, would you rather spend a week as a bird or a pig, and why?
Oh, wow. I would like to spend a week as a bird because I find it really cool that I'd be able to fly places, whereas a pig, I feel like I would be very lethargic and tired and hungry all the time. And that's sort of my life right now anyway. So I feel like a bird would be a distinctly unique experience. So to be able to fly over mountains and seas without being on an airplane would be a pretty cool experience, I'd imagine.
Josh Gad, an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, sweetie.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey,